Hello and welcome to the Transparency. Gonna let those notifications click in. Again, welcome.
Hi,
Hello,
Lana.
Paula.
Hi, chat. Hi, New Orleans lady. Thanks for joining us on such late notice. Hi, Boston. So you've been doing what you do best, right, Lana?
Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
Listen, folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you... All right, who's responsible here?
What's that?
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
You haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No. Okay, drive careful, okay?
Will do, thank you.
Unmute if you're talking. Hi, chat. How are you guys doing?
Again, welcome to the Transparency. I got Bella on here with me. This is a quick preview, and I'm going to be making this a lot bigger for you guys. But this is a preview of what is coming in Karen Reed's case, what Truth and Transparency has been doing behind the scenes, prepping for this release of a chronological order of events, all events, manual extraction of all the data sources in the Karen Reed case. And what I'm going to reveal in this is the spreadsheet itself and what each column represents. And then I'm going to take us right to 6:03 a.m. So those of you guys that are here, if you're going to catch this on replay, enjoy it just as much. Again, here we go. The spreadsheet here, first of all the way to the left, it is the date, obviously. Then there's two columns for the time, which is if it requires a time in and time out based on an action. The device, wherever the information is coming from. So the action, when it is described, whatever it is, it's from this device, whatever device it may be. If it is coming from a device where that data was the location of the data, and then the actual physical location of the action or event, and then if it involved any steps or floors. Again, then you have here is your action, and which is, arrives at McCarthy's bar, things like that. Whatever the event may have been, Jen McCabe receives a call from John. So whatever the event is, you'll see as we get down further, it goes into color coordination. Then these are the columns that involve the actions of the person. So right here, the victim, obviously John O'Keefe, your defendant, Karen Reed, witness Jennifer McCabe, witness Matthew McCabe, Carrie Roberts, witness Brian Higgins, B. Albert Jr., the surveillance camera at McCarthy's, the surveillance camera at Waterfall, surveillance library cam.
The temple's cam.
Yeah, that's that's right here. And I don't know why that actually didn't have that. Then the one second there. Oh, do you? Some more? Come on over here. Let me see what some more looks like. Again, guys, welcome.
So if you guys know anything about Lana, or you just discovered her for Idaho 4, you'll know that she can do an amazing timeline, and she's all about dates and times. So this is an Excel I can't even talk today. Excel spreadsheet that she put together with valuable times from a lot of these witnesses and victims' devices. And what you're going to see here is a preview of the work that she did. And I don't know if it's premature to say, but exculpatory evidence for Karen Reed's case. This is...
Thank you, Bella.
You're welcome. You know what I think.
You just, yeah. Yeah. Again, where we're at here. Okay, we have two other witnesses there, Nicholas and Karen. How do you say those last names, Bella? What would you say those, they're like?
I have to look them up. Remember, I
wasn't even going to attempt it, so.
Yeah, just call them. Remember, I think we were like calling them like with the first initial when we.
Yeah, so it's Karina and Nicholas. They're married.
It's better to say that, yes.
Yeah. Then we got Julie Hagel, Nicole Albert. Now here, Brian Albert, that is the father, married to Nicole.
Why Nicole Albert is Jen McCabe's sister. So that's the connection here between Jen McCabe and this family. And you'll know why Jen McCabe.
It's their house. Brian Albert and Nicole Albert are the homeowners at 34 Fairview, where this all allegedly took place. Then you have your witness, Caitlin Albert and Tristan Morris. Now, these are the people that were listed. If it says a witness like this with nothing above it, those are people that the state, that's their quote unquote witnesses, people that I believe help Karen Reed's case, and witnesses not for the state are going to be Ryan Ritchie and Heather Maxon. Obviously, there's going to be more than that, but those are people that were also there present at the house at some point. So, but this is your spreadsheet. Again, this is all events in chronological order. It is a working piece, but it takes from, everybody's source that's been talked about. As far as phones, as far as cameras, Ring cameras, Life 360 app. But something I just want to quick preview here today is the fast forwarding to 6:03 timestamp we're going to start at.
Now here's where it gets interesting, right, Lana?
Yeah. So again, hello to everybody that is watching this live if you catch it on replay. If you're following this case, this is what everybody is going to want to see for their own eyes, for them to understand that, wow, is this woman getting railroaded? Yeah. It's pretty bad.
It's bad.
Okay, so Jen McCabe has a cell phone and has a iPhone, iWatch. Those are her two devices that are on her person, is her iWatch and her cell phone. As well as she has the Life 360 data app. She has that app. And then John had his phone, iPhone. Karen Reed had her phone. And then John, his house, he has a Ring camera. So here we go. At 6:03, Jen's watch. No, this is where it's coming from, the watch. So it's the health data. From her watch, she travels, okay? Jen McCabe gets out of her car and walks before calling 911 29 steps, because she basically gets out of the vehicle and she has her watch on, but her phone is actually in the car. Okay.
And we know her phone's in the car because.
Well, I'm going to explain that. The reason that her iPhone isn't calculating these steps is because her phone is not on her, but her obviously her watch is. So what they say that happens is that they arrive back over at this house on 34 Fairview, and oh my God, they see his body. Well, actually, it was Reed that saw it, and the other girls claim that they couldn't see it.
They made a big deal about how there was trees in the way and how the body was covered in snow, and how did she see it from the back seat when they're in the front seat and they couldn't see it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, here, digital evidence will prove right here that at 6:03 and some odd seconds that McCabe Jen gets out of the car, out of her vehicle. And that would be at the same time that the Life 360 app says, yep, that happened. And so what then happens is it's 6:03 and 47 seconds. So it's 6:03 and 27 seconds. She gets out, takes 29 steps, gets back over to her car, then reaches for her phone. And at 6:03 and 47 seconds, Jen's phone, from her phone records, she makes a 911 call that would last roughly around 3 minutes and 30 seconds. She then physically deletes that 911 call from her phone. Jen does.
That's weird, right?
Oh yeah, she deletes 18 calls. We'll go through that, but
that one, I mean, you're calling 911. Why delete it?
we'll find out. Here at 6:04, so at 6:04, while she's on the phone with 911, okay, from 6:04 to 6:12, Jen's phone and watch, because she has both her phone and her watch on her person from her health data, there is a total of 81 steps that she takes during this time period from 6:04 to 6:12. Now check this out. At the same time, again right here, I'll read it for you guys. Jen only registers 81 steps in the same time period that John's phone, remember, John is laying, they say, in the snow, unresponsive, okay? And they say that his phone was found underneath his body, okay?
Do you guys remember that from the last time we did this?
Now check this out. At the same time that Jen begins her steps, John's phone begins to take steps as well. John's phone, while his body is unresponsive in snow and on top of his phone, supposedly, and immediately after Jen arrives and her phone begins taking steps and his phone begins taking steps, his phone, while it is supposed to be underneath his body, takes a total of 496 steps in
That's
that
almost
7-minute period.
That's about a quarter of a mile, you guys.
Okay. Now check this out, though. Now, it's very simple to see here that math doesn't take, a genius to understand that, wow, 496 steps, but Jen only recorded 81 steps. So
415.
Well, I'm saying that there's a discrepancy of over 400 steps, meaning that Jen couldn't have been the person walking with John's phone. Now, check this out. Immediately, okay, so these two are all happy at the same time. Jen's phone and her watch and John's phone. Okay. They begin taking steps. Now, if someone can say, hey, well, I'm sure it was the police that had it. No, the police were not seen yet. 911 was just being called and the phone's already moving. So that's off. That's out. Now at 6:07, Jen's phone, immediately after she gets off the phone with the police, Jen calls Nicole Albert. Okay. And that phone call would last 7 seconds. And Jen would delete this manually.
That's her sister. It's her sister's house.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she deleting a phone call to her sister? It's normal to call your sister if there's an unresponsive man in the front and you're arriving there without her knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a bizarre deletion again.
So again, then she calls immediately after calling 911, 7-second phone call. Now, then a couple of seconds would go by, and at 6:08, she calls her sister again, 9 seconds. 9-second outgoing call to Nicole Albert, again deleted. Now, during, again, this time period, TNT is stating on the record, going full blast here on the record, that obviously it is impossible for Jen McCabe to have walked with John's phone for 496 steps when she only registered 81 steps in that time period. But during that time period, she called her sister, and her sister was inside that home. It is TNT's belief, based on this digital information, that it is without a doubt that Jen McCabe had to pass off this phone to somebody for those steps to continue to get, calculated and added up. It is TNT's belief that that phone was handed off to her sister, Nicole Albert. At 6:12, Jen's watch, not her phone, but just her watch, takes 3 steps. Then between 6:12 and 6:17, Jen's watch takes 63 steps. Again, 3 steps without her iPhone in her person, and then she takes another 63 steps without her iPhone.
That's a great catch, Lana. That's an amazing catch right there.
Now,
did Jen not realize her watch was on her when she left her phone in the car? Very bizarre.
Now, at 6:15 to 6:21, John's phone. So during a little bit of this period from 6:12 to 6:17, there's a 2-minute overlap right here of when John's phone starts to walk and move, I say. 180 steps, you guys. Okay? Now check this out. Then at 6:19 and the 6:26, again, that's John's phone. Jen's phone, only 28 steps. Again, when you add up all of those steps, it is not enough steps at this point that for that phone to yet again be in the sole possession of Miss McCabe. Like, his phone has to be in other people's possessions because of the amount of steps that his phone is taking compared to when you even add up all of her iWatch and her iPhone data. The iWatch, you're not going to get around because it was on her the whole time. Her watch is on her. So, like, if you don't have your phone on you, then your steps obviously aren't going to be calculated. Hold on one second.
This is as good as having CCTV, you guys, because we are monitored all the time by the apps we choose to have in our phones. And Jen McCabe is going to have to answer for how this is possible. You can't, the phone was supposedly found on the official record from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts underneath the victim's body. So how is any of this possible?
Okay. Thank you. Back over at it over here. Again, if you've been following this is the Karen Reed case. All right, now Jen's phone at 6:23 makes a phone call to Brian Albert. She deletes it. He doesn't answer it, but she deletes it.
And that's her brother-in-law?
Yeah. Then just a couple seconds after that, this is when Jen tries to override the how cold is it into like this is from the cell, right? How long does it take to die in cold? She also sneaks in there. There's a couple seconds after that, 6:23. How long does it take to digest food? And then how long does it take to die in cold? Again, we believe that she did that to cover up for her 327 deleted data were from Jen's phone. She unlocked her phone while she was upstairs at her home. How long does it take to die in the snow?
This is before she got let's see the time again. This is before she got the notification from Karen Reed to say John is missing. Why is she looking this up?
Why is she Googling
27 a.m.?
And this was found in her phone from the deleted data.
And then she deletes it, you guys. So was she doing that search at this other search at what time is it? 6:23.
6:23. Again, this is going to be after she had already been in contact with her sister on the phone for 9 and 7 seconds. And again, Truth and Transparency believes that not only was she in contact with them via the phone call 7 and 9 seconds, but that they are passing a phone back and forth. And how do we know this? Because John's laying unresponsive on the ground. His phone supposedly is supposed to be underneath his body. And it took 496 steps. Like obviously, and this was before police got there. They got the phone out of there because I believe at first they were going to keep the phone until they decided, which you'll see here. Now, at 6:26 a.m. to 6:34 a.m., John's phone would take another 173 steps. During the same time period, Jen's watch, would register 190 steps. Okay. And then now her phone from 6:32 to 6:38 would register 177 steps. Like, I mean, this girl's just walking, running, going all over. Then here we go. This is the big deal here. At 6:35 a.m., Jen's watch, from her health data on the watch, it has her traveling, whether it's one floor up or one floor down. It could be ascending or descending. Jen travels one flight within 3 seconds it takes her to do this.
And you do believe that it could possibly be halfway, as you wrote there?
Yeah, somebody would have to answer that as an expert.
Yes. But it is odd, you guys. Look at the time, look at the steps. And how is John O'Keefe, who's the victim here, and lying prone on the ground, and his phone's supposed to be under him, how is his phone moving, taking steps? The state had an answer, but Alan Jackson had just very done with that.
Okay, this is what's key with this. when she goes up the stairs at 6:35, she does all of this in 3 seconds, okay? Then immediately after that, okay, this is all chronological order. At 6:38 to 6:47, or I'm sorry, 6:36 to 6:43, John's phone registers 192 steps, okay?
How is this possible? And look what it does. Soon coming up, you guys. Look what Lana found.
Then Jen's watch, 6:38 to 6:47. This would be during this time period of 6:43 to 6:55 of John's phone. Jen's watch registers 91 steps. Okay. But Jen takes these steps without her cell phone. Okay. During that time period, John's phone will travel 1 floor. John's phone traveled a flight of stairs while his body was on the top, was allegedly on top of his phone in the snow. At 6:43 and 6:55.
I love that his phone has battery, by the way, because if anyone knows anything about batteries in cold weather zaps batteries. But I just love this.
Now, this is what's interesting is during this pass off, which I think is a pass off over here, they're in the beginning portions of this, because allegedly these people, Brian Albert and Nicole Albert, they were just upstairs sleeping,
Supposedly, you guys,
on the top floor.
according to what they said to police officers.
And now John's phone never goes up a flight of stairs, okay, until down here at 6:43 a.m. Okay. But how would that be possible that these people that were sleeping had to have possibly come downstairs and did the walking around on the first level up and until that point, because John's phone never goes up any flights of stairs. So that means that those 2 people would be awake, at least one of them. We don't have and that's why Alan Jackson is trying to get the phone records of,
Brian,
Nicole and Brian Albert.
the data.
Because this proves it. This proves that Jen McCabe took his phone right here, okay, at the same time that she arrives at the body. Immediately his phone starts moving. You guys, you know how many 496 steps are?
A quarter of a mile.
Okay. John's phone, right after like she's grabbing it on the phone with 911, his phone, 496 steps, she only takes 81. She has to pass off this phone. And the only people that are there are allegedly Karen Reed, who's on top of John giving CPR and mouth to mouth, and
Kara
Roberts.
But you guys, who is she calling and deleting? Who is Jen McCabe calling and deleting at this time? That's why Brian and Nicole, her sister Nicole, their data is so important to this.
And so this is enough to prove that that Jen McCabe alone, it's simple math. Jen McCabe only takes 81 steps in the same time period that John's phone takes 496 steps. This phone means after the 607, after the 608 call, Jen passed it off to her sister, Jen did not go up any flights of stairs either to do this, because it would have registered. Which what I believe is right here is Jen takes these 3 steps with her watch. And I believe that was passing. She took 3 steps to pass John's phone off.
Now, Bob C says, I bet that's when someone logged into John O'Keefe's Ring camera. It would be interesting to see if there was a login into his phone at this time. We don't see from what we have, right, Lana? Like, did you see?
I'm still adding that part in, but Bobsy's absolutely right. What this proves is that the phone was in somebody else's possession,
Yes.
and that if anything was being, done with his making commands from his phone, this is almost proof that the phone was in the hands of Jen McCabe, but that she passed it off, because that phone's taking so many more steps, like so many more steps than Jen physically takes. So somebody else had to have it.
Right. And who's culpable, you guys? And this is such an injustice.
Jen called
in so many
911 while
ways.
she was still in the car. Well, not according to the records. She can say that, but according to these records, which is the data, if you put it on a grid like
Timeline.
this.
Like you did. This is Lana's.
This is all straight from, here you go.
Anyone
Like,
coming in late, this is what Lana is. This is her wheelhouse, you guys. Timelines, dates. This is her wheelhouse, and this is very. There's more to come, but she wanted to give a preview here.
So Jen McCabe at 6:03 to 6:04, she gets out of the vehicle with her watch on, and it takes 29 steps. She goes over to the body. She, in my opinion, at that point, because it goes in from 6:03, it goes actually into the 6:04 period, at the time period. And then with her watch on, she takes John O'Keefe's phone when she was by the body. She takes his phone because at the same time here, right here at 6:04, in some seconds, the same happens right after Jen was at the body with just her watch on, because when Jen makes the phone call, her phone is in her car. So she has to walk back, and she begins to walk back. And when she's beginning to walk back, O'Keefe's phone starts counting tickers with his health data.
Amazing.
And at 6:04, the health data of Jen's phone and her watch combined get in 81 steps, and it was during the time period of the 911 call. So if she was making her 911 call from
the body,
from her car, because these steps happen within those time, when she would have hung up, what I can only prove is that John's phone starts moving at 6:04 to start registering his 496 steps, which proves to me that Jen took it when she first got out, and then she got back to her car. Then she makes the 911 call. Then she gets back out of the vehicle, and then with his phone and her watch on, she immediately calls her sister at 6:07, 6:08, walks on over to the house, and passes off his phone, where then they have from 6:07 to 6:11 to rack up 496 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was in pure panic with his phone.
That is almost a quarter of a mile for anyone just coming in, you guys. 496 steps is approximately a quarter of a mile. That's a lot to just walk.
Now, it would be interesting to know if it got possibly passed off in somebody with a vehicle, because that, to me, though, there were steps taken. So I don't believe it's with, a vehicle or anything like that. These are physical steps.
And this is the tip of the iceberg, you guys. Lana, this, like I said, this is Lana's bread and butter. This is her wheelhouse, what she does best. And we are just starting to peel the layers off now. And so there's going to be more to come. Yeah.
So I just wanted to zone in, though, here at this 6:03 to give you guys a preview of how in depth this spreadsheet is and will be. It includes the your victim, your defendant, any of the witnesses. And then I included witnesses that the state doesn't intend on calling, but I believe that the defense will, which is going to be Ryan and Richie and Heather. But
it is very in-depth. Lana took a lot of time with this, and again, there's going to be a lot of time put into this, and you guys are going to get the benefit of seeing that. And I'll try to talk her into, if you're a member, maybe releasing a copy of this. We'll see.
So I don't know if you guys are following along in this case, but if you are, this without a doubt proves 100% that for someone that says that they didn't know where John's body was, well, they knew where his body was. They got out of that vehicle and they went over to his body and got his phone. Fuck, if you knew where his body was, you were able to find his phone in all that snow.
I mean, how can you see his phone? I mean, do you have 3D if it's under his body? So we're going to see where that takes this little story by just following the evidence, not listening to conjecture or, just actually going with facts here.
So everything's being put on this, and it's just, straight off the data. Something else that everybody needs to look at is it's right there in black and white, 81 steps, 496 steps.
415
that's the differential. And that means, you guys, that somebody besides Jennifer McCabe, so it's not just Jennifer McCabe that had this phone. And that's just during this small period, 6:04 to 6:11. Okay. 415. So somebody else, maybe multiple people can, racked up the 415.
100%. I'm looking more at the people she deleted, her sister, Nicole, and Brian, her brother-in-law. Let's look at their data and see what they were doing. Because why would you delete? You're at their house. It makes sense to call them. You're at their home, right? There's this big emergency happening in the front yard. Why would you delete those phone calls unless there was something nefarious happening?
Yes. And then the other part of it is when you look at this data, why I believe that the phone, it's too much of a coincidence, and I don't believe in coincidences, that, John's phone starts moving just after Jen's watch begins to calculate her 29 steps without her phone on her, because she walks over to the body. And then she, they get over to the body, and then she walks back to her car because her phone was in the vehicle. So she goes to where she was, and then she has to walk back. But during that period of time that she walked just with her, watch on, is when she grabbed that phone, because that's when John's right here in the yellow, that's when John's phone starts calculating the steps, which, you at least had to take one step to calculate and to get that running time of 496 steps. You had to at least take a first step in the 6:04, and it was like 6:04 in 19 seconds. Literally just seconds after, splits, a couple seconds, boom, she picks it up, and they're off, and those steps are being made at the same time, basically. Meaning like Jen's phone, Jen's watch, and John's phone. So I don't believe, I looked at it from the angle of, do I believe that John's phone could have been inside the house? No, because of this. At first, I thought that it could have, until you break this down, and then that's his phone starts moving with Jen. That's, his phone's not moving. His phone doesn't move at 6:04. That phone doesn't move. Right here is when his phone, right there, he gets 36 steps between 12:31 and 12:32.
Look at that weird thing down. Oh, I'll wait till you get there.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go into that. But
Oh, more to come, you guys. More to come. This was just a preview, anyways. She just did like a pop-up live just to show you guys what has been going on in the last couple of days.
and I can put him inside the home. Because he went up or down 3 floors, between 1221, 1224. His GPS pings. But right here, this is the last time that with his phone takes steps. I like to use the whole thing of like his phone takes steps, because we don't know who could be actually holding his phone.
100%.
So his phone is taking those steps, 1231 to 1232, and it doesn't take steps again until 604. So it also tells me that where his body was found and located, if you pick up and you carry somebody, okay, I believe that his phone was on him when he was picked up and carried out, okay, that his phone was actually on him. And I'm curious to see how this all is going to play out.
Exactly. And the amazing part about this, you guys, if you haven't seen when they did their hearing that's televised, is the state gets up and says something ridiculous about this data. And then Alan Jackson gets up and actually breaks it down like a Apple technician, tells everybody all the proper names, everything. They're not ready for Alan Jackson. They could bring as many lawyers as they want. Everyone can get a lawyer. Every police officer can get a lawyer. Nobody is ready for this man. He knows how to think on his toes, and he's with the right side of justice. He's not lying. His client, in my opinion, is 100% innocent. What do you think, Lana?
Yeah, I mean, Karen Reed's 100% innocent in killing this man, 100%. Kate says, wonder why they took his phone. Me personally, I believe that they were planning on keeping his phone when they took it. But then they decided that the new storyline would be, if she hit him, we need to cough up the phone, because he would have, if he never came into the house, his phone can't be missing. So they initially were going to keep this man's phone, okay, and they decided that that wasn't going to be the play. So therefore, if he never came into this home, he needs to have his phone on him. And that was something that I believe was, after you're going to see as I go way more in depth to show you when they made this plan. I believe it was at 7/21 is when I believe that they made that plan. Because it was after they had talked to Karen Reed and after a couple of things had happened that they started to change the way that they were going to go about it.
And what a treat for everybody watching and subscribe to your channel, because as you guys know,
he didn't have a watch on. Tara, watch isn't showing his heart stop. He didn't have a watch on.
He didn't have like an Apple Watch or one with health data.
The health data that I have was but Jennifer McCabe, she had the watch on. And just so you guys know, McCabe didn't go to sleep that night when this all gets broken down. I mean, wait till you guys see that woman, Jennifer McCabe. She was up all fucking night, man.
And why wouldn't you be? Everything was fine, right? Everyone says that went to the bar and saw them. No one was arguing. No, everyone was in good spirits. Even they're saying Karen Reed and John O'Keefe were in good spirits. So why would you not go to sleep that night?
Yeah, she was up walking around until like 3:51 in the morning, and then she literally slept from like 3:51 until 4:33, something like that. It's something wild, and it's like she deleted 18 calls. She deleted all of her calls from her, to and from Karen Reed, to and from John O'Keefe. Obviously she deleted all of her search. Then she went as far as to delete and to try to scrub down her whole entire phone. minus just the FaceTime calls in her phone. These people, they had connections to deal with people that knew how to do forensics. Okay. But this is wild. But I'm telling you right now, this proves 100% that John's phone and Jen's phone and watch, right after she gets to the body, begin to walk together. And it proves that she passed off this phone. She passed off John's phone. And after she called her sister for the 7 second and the 9 seconds, right after she called 911, I believe that she passed it off to her when she was on the first floor of the home. And that's why Jen McCabe does not have she doesn't hit going up the stairs until at like 6:30. So the first pass off had to be where Jen McCabe did not go upstairs yet because her phone doesn't register going upstairs. And neither does her iWatch.
And you're going to dig into it a little bit.
And neither does John's phone until 6:36. So they were doing all of this 100%, in my opinion, on ground level 1. And they could have been, there is a back door to their house, to like have somebody, hey, come from the other street, grab this, I just think that they were pure in panic mode, trying to get into his phone, trying to decide what to do with his phone.
Yeah, 100%. And there's more to come, you guys. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Like I said earlier, it's crazy. But this man, John O'Keefe, deserves justice. Karen Reed deserves justice. The children that John O'Keefe was looking after and taking care of, they deserve justice.
Yes.
The whole Massachusetts deserves. Who wants cops that are like this, taking care of protecting and serving?
And I will say this too, as far as Jennifer McCabe, her phone was the one that was used. Okay. It could have been other people doing things and searching things, or telling or taking her phone. Like her husband is with her. So her husband could have used her phone. You know what I mean?
100. Yeah.
So I like to say this is what someone's phone did. And then eliminate who couldn't have used it if they weren't around and stuff like that.
Yeah, but Jen needs to answer for how.
And she will. She will.
And she will.
She will.
And it's an atrocity. This never needed to happen, you guys. The medical examiner says the contributing factor to his death was hypothermia. So if they would have just called 911, there could have been saving John O'Keefe's life. Why
did people want John dead? I mean,
I don't believe it. I think it was an accident, in my opinion, only. And I think when he hit, I don't think that someone
an accident. I don't need you to say that on my channel. No. Is that your opinion?
What I'm saying is, I don't think that's what I said. In my opinion, only that I don't think someone hit him in the back of the head. I think there was a knockout punch, and then when he fell down and hit his head, they were just like, okay, we're putting him outside, and then they killed him.
I completely disagree.
You think they set out to kill him?
I just completely disagree with all of that. The injuries that he suffered. There's a German Shepherd biting him and is clawing at him. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's just.
I don't think that was planned. I think the German Shepherd reacted to his owner getting in the middle of that and reacted to that. I don't think that, in my opinion, only that it was a planned thing. I think that whoever did this, whether it was, what they're saying, the C guy.
They watched him die 100%.
Yes. And I believe that too. H-bag. I'm not saying that
this is not an accident.
I'm just saying it wasn't planned. All I'm saying is it wasn't planned. I'm saying they did kill him, but I don't think it was a premeditated.
Well, I can tell you that I disagree based on the digital evidence. Somebody either
planned.
This was Jen McCabe starts planting text messages after the fact in the 12:30 range to 12:45 range. So I completely disagree with what you're saying. 100% disagree with what you're saying. There was beginning to be planting of text messages, And that it's way too early to say that this was an accident. You're already planning text messages at 12:30. So
Yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. That's my opinion as it stands right now with what we have. I don't, in my opinion,
well,
only
with maybe what
Diana.
you've gone through.
Yeah, only in
I'll,
my
I'll,
opinion.
I'll go over this timeline here, this
Okay.
this Excel spreadsheet to make sure that people see exactly the order of text messages, phone calls, where these actually took place, how much time was in between stuff, where the geolocations were. That it paints a completely different picture than an accident. What I would like to know, and this should be the big question for everybody, is about Jennifer Reed when she's there, and what time are her text message and phone calls to him? Because if what was the purpose of them going there to that? Was it ever that she was supposed to really like just leave him? You know what I mean? Like, and like what was the purpose of going there? And we're going to get into all of that in the next episode. But this was just a sneak peek.
Yes, of your work.
Yeah, of this bomb ass
Exculpatory.
Excel spreadsheet that's about to like go viral. So
I think it's amazing. And this is why it's so important for Lana to get her hands on this kind of stuff, is because she does know how to break this down. If you guys weren't around for the Watts case, the Chris Watts case, she did that. Not on YouTube, well, a little bit. But so this is, it makes me excited when she gets to show you guys what she does well.
Thank you. All right, guys, until next time, TNT appreciates you guys. This was just a quick preview of it. But I will be doing a in-depth live to show all the movements beginning of when they got to McCarthy's and running down the whole night in sequence of every person and their movements. Like what I mean by that, right, really quick, you got the movements of the victim, the defendant, and then all of these witnesses, their movements as well, all time stamped on a chronological order of events down to the second. And it's going to paint you a very, very clear picture of what took place. And this is, in a nutshell, at 6:03 to 6:11, exculpatory evidence, tampering with evidence, they did it all. So until next time, guys.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks, mods. Thanks, subs. Thanks, members.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. On your way out, thumbs it up, thumbs it down. You have an opinion. Make yourself known.
You guys are amazing.
This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really? They just ditched it? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car. And the other one.
It's truly for the win.
That I was given to. So there was 2 different discs. Okay. They all knew about it.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need Lana brains, you're gonna be in trouble.